So let me put a scenario to you then, yeah, a situation, because whilst you are still living with the kids, yeah, you still have, how can I put it, a status of a parent while you're still in the family home, yeah. So in theory, things are rocky at home. I can see where this is headed. You know, with some of the stuff I've talked about in my previous videos, coercive control. Dad's a prisoner in his own life, effectively, because he knows the system we're up against believes mum is a victim, and mum stays with the children, and dad is going to be labeled as abuser. Yeah. So in that scenario, is it possible that father one day gets in the car with the kids and disappears? Is that not making him resident parent? Because if the police are called and they pull him up, I'm out with my I'm out with my children, and I'm legally allowed to be with them now. They don't have powers to actually stop you because there's nothing against you at that stage.
There is nothing against you at that stage. You have parental responsibility. There's a legal phrase. You have parental responsibility from the moment your children are born. And it's only a court that can take that parental responsibility away from you, and that very, very, very rarely happens. So, using your example, you put your children into the car and then take off down the street, and you get waved over by a police officer because mum has rang the police and said,
"You've kidnapped the children.
You've abducted, you've stolen, you've kidnapped your own children.
Yes,
your own children." Once the police officer has finished smirking about the fact that you've just been accused of abducting your own children, you explain to the police officer, at home the situation is volatile, at home the situation is abusive, the situation is physical. I have decided to leave the family home because that is in the best interest of everybody concerned, and I am going to stay with my parents or with my brother or wherever it is you're headed, or I've rented the house down the street, whatever it might be. And in my view, in my opinion, my children are best in my care.
Right.
That's what I'm doing. Now, that police officer will do one of two things. He'll either agree with you, which would be nice, and tell you to be about your business and get on with it, or he will object. And he will say that he would like you and the children to return to the family home invariably with him, and probably he'll undoubtedly have another officer with him. Return to the family home and let's talk about this.
Right. Okay.
That is certainly a more likely outcome rather than just wave you on. And when you get back to the family home, your battle has then started again.
Yeah, you could then so you've lost all leverage.
You've lost your leverage because now suddenly you're both on the same playing field, and one of you carries the title of mum.
It's game over,
and the other one doesn't.
Okay, but can the police, if you refuse to go back, they can't force you, can they? Because legally you've done nothing wrong.
You've done nothing wrong.
Powers over you.
They can't force you unless mother has lodged an allegation of abuse.
So, okay.
If mother has said, he's taken the children and on his way out he hit me, or he hit one of the kids, or the kids were screaming hysterically as he dragged them into the car and forced them in, at that point the police officer, from a safeguarding issue, has obviously got to contemplate that.
So basically, the trump card comes out again, which is the abuse card.
Yes, yeah.
So once that trump ace card is pulled, mate, you've won the table. It's over.
Domestic abuse.
Yeah, great.
It is the joker in the pack. Okay,
right. Okay, so let's say the police then pull you over. The kids look seemingly happy. Everything looks hunky-dory, and he says there's no sign of abuse. Hence, I can't act on that, but I can advise you, can you come home with us? Can you, if you stand your ground, can you refuse if the police does a safeguarding check on the spot to the children and yourself? Children look happy with daddy. Technically, does he still have powers to pull you back, even though the abuse allegations were there?
No. The only way he can take you back is if he opts to arrest you.
And he has to see, say, the kid's crying or some mark on the children.
There has to be some basis for that. So you can say to him, with all due respect, I believe it is best for now for me to carry on down the road to my parents' house. This is the address. My brother's house, my sister's house, wherever it is I'm headed, just to take the heat of this situation. And that, as a parent, is what I'm choosing to do. Unless he has got real grounds.
Yes, unless he sees a kid bleeding or crying or black eye or marks.
Or indeed mother's back at the house and she's bleeding.
Yes, obviously.
At that point he's got some grounds. Outside of that, he has no grounds and he can only recommend.
Okay, so this is exactly what I'm talking about. People don't have this information. They don't know. That's the only time as a father that you have some leverage. Again, as I've said, if you, and a lot of men don't tend to do this because they don't, all the fathers I've dealt with, look,